So you guys are telling me that Jar Jar Binks isn't in any of these?
No.
Thank God.
Not a one. Well, this one. This episode of iFanboy is brought to you by Gamefly. Check out www.gamefly.com/iFanboy to get a free trial account. And Netflix. Go to www.netflix.com/iFanboy for your free trial membership. Welcome to iFanboy, the comic book discussion show from the website iFanboy.com. My name is Conor Kilpatrick, and I'm here with Ron Richards and Josh Flanagan.
Why don't you tell me the movie you want to see? Fine.
Hello, and welcome to iFanboy.
You have selected a vault show. This week's show, prequels. We're going to talk about prequels. There it is.
What is a prequel, Josh?
A prequel is...
Papa Josh.
Oh, boys, when a mommy and a daddy love each other very much.
Where does it come from?
Stork. No, this is one of our vault shows. You've seen many of these before. We picked some books, but we themed it.
We put it in.
We put it in the thing. So we each picked a book.
It was actually it was very organic in our discussion. Mm-hmm. It was we were deciding what books. Connor picked his, and then Josh said, "I'm going to do that too. It's kind of like a prequel." And we said, "Yes, that's a theme." And then I had to find a book to do.
And thank God he did.
Yes.
So I'm going to start off and talk about Queen and Country Volume 4.
Which is strange.
The definitive edition.
You wouldn't think a Volume 4 would be a prequel.
Many times the prequel is done, and I haven't checked the definition. Prequel is done after the quel.
Well, because it wouldn't be a prequel; it would just be the first chapter.
Yeah, true. Yeah, good point.
Quell.
Yeah.
You've heard us.
Although we should clarify.
This is going to go on.
The prequel that we're doing is sometimes it's just stories before.
It could be a
popular
prelude.
stories.
It could be a prelude.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Prelude prequel show.
Stories that led into more popular stories.
Yes, exactly.
If you're that pedantic and can't enjoy it, then I'm sorry. Just in general.
I'm trying to cover all comment bases.
Yeah.
Thank God.
All right. Now we can roll.
You may have heard us talk about Queen and Country before. It is a series written by Greg Rucka out of Oni Press. Many different artists on this. Story of Terra Chase, who is a British SIS agent.
MI5.
MI5 as opposed to 6, because 6 is domestic, 5 is international, in case you didn't know. And the fourth volume of the series, the first 3 volumes cover Terra's story, basically. And then the fourth volume is a set of stories about some of the characters before those other stories took place, hence the prequelization, as it were. So
I'll allow it.
Thank God, because I've read it. So that's like...
Have you?
For this one.
Yeah, I know.
Have you?
I did.
Okay.
Most of. It's...
Does this have the French chapter?
No, that's in volume 3. 2.
It's dirty.
1. It's in 1, actually.
It's
That's
one.
the Sean Alexander one.
Yeah.
This one has the story of Paul Crocker, who is the head of the Minders, D-Ops. And then it has Tom Wallace, who I almost
Minder
gave
1.
a spoiler away. He's Minder 1 at the beginning of Queen and Country. And then Nicky Poole, who is Minder 3. And it's all stories of them before they joined SIS. Actually, Paul Crocker's story is when he was just a Minder.
Yeah, when he was an SIS agent.
This is actually one of these stories. The Nicky Poole story is not actually by Greg Rucka. It's the only Queen and Country story that's not been written by Greg Rucka. It's been written by Anthony Johnston with art by Christopher Minton. They do Wasteland from Oni together.
Great story.
Good, really good story. Really good. And then basically the Paul Crocker story, which is drawn by Brian Hurt. I really like this. He's one of those artists.
That's my favorite one.
There's a few artists who really are Queen and Country artists, and him, Chris Somney, Mike Norton. Those are the guys I tend to think of. I know that. Brian Rolston was the guy who started it off. Steve Rolston was the guy who started off. But I tend to not think of him first for whatever reason. Really neat story about Eastern Europe and a defection. He's got to kidnap a guy.
Well, it's funny because in the current climate, we don't have the Soviets. So this is back to the Soviet era with Cold War spying, and that was like
it really helps when you're writing
the
a spy
major
story.
leagues of spying.
Yep.
It was a good time for spying.
The Western
and if you've read Paul Crocker in the current series, you don't know much about him other than he's quite gruff. And this is sort of, he was kind of gruff, but not as gruff. And you see he has to go home and try to deal with the fact that he has a home life. He has a wife, and he's trying to explain, he has to go away for a long time, and she knows why, but he can't really talk about it. And it's really beautifully done. It's really...
Let's go to Berlin.
Yeah, I have to go. Why? Can't say. How long is it going to be? Really just excellent story where he meets, he meets this guy Karpin, and he's got to get him out, and maybe it doesn't end great. Maybe it does. You let you know. But it's one of those stories where, he didn't feel the need to put a happy ending on it. I can tell you that much. Really nice. And then the next story is about Tom Wallace. Now, Tom Wallace is Minder 1 at the beginning. He's Terra's immediate superior.
For people who've never read Queen and Country or are very light on like I am, it's just like, whew.
Here, it's really simple, actually.
okay.
The SIS unit is DOPS, who's the head. He's the director of operations.
DOPS is a person?
Yeah, that's Paul Crocker. He's the
okay.
DOPS. I should probably do this.
Yeah.
Then under him are 3 minders. These are the spies.
The actual agents.
There's only 3 of them, and they go out and do all of the field work. Anything that has to be done outside. It's
basically James Bond.
Yes.
All right.
James Bond would be a minder.
Yeah. So this is a story about when the first one is a story about when DOPS was a minder. So before he moved up in the world,
into being the boss.
Tom Wallace was Minder 1, because Minder 1, 2, and 3, and they're ranked in that way. So the 1 is the most senior, and he was a Royal Marine, and they recruited him. They said, "You're a badass. Why don't you?"
So these are like little origin stories. Almost.
Yes, and this is his first. This is. Wallace's first mission was they sent him to Hong Kong. And the reason that you become a minder is because a minder previously had been killed. That's how you become a minder.
And that's how you move up.
Yes.
Minder
So
1 dies.
undead?
Minder 1 dies, 2 becomes 1.
Oh,
2,
I see.
3 becomes
Okay.
2,
Okay. That's okay. Got it.
So
Volleyball rotation.
they don't have to. They don't kill each other. It's like I want a promotion. Like it doesn't work like that.
Is it tragic when someone dies?
And if you really
it
want
is.
a promotion, you got to hope that your buddy gets killed in action.
Yeah.
So Wallace ends up having to go to Hong Kong, and it's 3 days before the transition of Hong Kong from British hands into Chinese hands. So there's all this stuff going on. Then the third story is about Nicky Poole, who was the third minder in the beginning. I forget. Not Ed, because Ed was the one the story started. Nicky Poole came along later.
Yeah.
Anyways, he was a British soldier stationed in Northern Ireland. In the midst of all that going on.
The Troubles.
Yes, the Troubles. And so if you know anything about that, it was quite contentious. Yeah. And they're all rough. Like, they just had these horrible lives, and they're these people who are exceptionally skilled and can deal with it. It's every bit as good as any of the other Queen and Country stuff. You could actually read you could read Volume 4. I know this is going to sound strange. You could just pick up Volume 4 and read it without buying the whole thing.
Because they're just spy stories.
Yep,
And
standalone
but now,
stories.
have you previously read Queen and Country? Does it enhance the reading of Queen and Country?
It does, because you get to know these characters more who you didn't necessarily
You
get to
understand
spend a lot
Crocker a bit
of
more,
time with.
why he is, why he's so protective of his agents, why he's fearful.
Poole is a character you don't actually spend a ton of time with, so you get to know more about him. Tom Wallace is a character who you kind of know from the books, but really I got to know him from reading the novels.
Yeah,
actually,
more the novels.
It's like the thing about Queen and Country is you can be as involved as you want to be. You could skip any of that stuff and you'd be okay.
You could even read Volume 2 or 3 or whatever, because there's a story, but it's also separate. Each mission's on its own.
Right.
It's a great art.
But there's really great art, and I really like how it.
Chat. The Tom Wallace story. He's fantastic.
And it's mixed in with real world stuff. It's like you take a moment in history and you figure, well, how would British intelligence have been involved with this? The second story is basically a murder mystery that takes place in Hong Kong at that time. It's nice. It's good. It's like everything else. And I found it.
And the Anthony Johnson story is. Can you tell it's not Rucka?
It actually has a more authentic voice.
Yeah.
Because they're all Irish. Not all of them, but a lot of the characters are Irish, Northern Irish. And some of the phraseology is a little more advanced than some of the stuff that Rucka uses. So you can it has an air of authenticity.
Is it
that part is. Okay. It's good. It's good. I mean, like
it holds up. It's not like
doesn't. It's not like the drop off at the end.
I remember when it came out originally, we were worried, but it was not.
I think one of the issues was Pick of the Week way back when.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
I know. I wrote it.
I went into the. Yes.
So there's your prequel. Kind of a cheat because it's just Volume 4, but
no, but the stories are prequels.
Yes, they are.
And when they came out, it wasn't as a volume; it was as miniseries. So
they were all minis.
Yeah.
There you go.
I feel like I might have not bought one of the miniseries.
It's possible.
And when I read this, I had never read it before.
New to me.
Which I was pretty happy about.
Pretty
good. We'll come back with Connor's pre-selection.
You have selected
Pre.
Thank you to GameFly for sponsoring iFanboy. GameFly is the largest online video game rental service and offers you a choice of over 7,000 new and classic titles across all consoles and handhelds. With plans starting at $15.95 a month, GameFly members can rent 1 to 4 games at a time and keep them for as long as they like. No late fees, no due dates, and shipping is always free. Once you're done playing a game, send it back and GameFly will send you the next available game in your list. If you really like the game you're playing, simply click Keep It on the GameFly website, and the game is yours at a discounted price. GameFly will even mail you the case and the manuals free of charge. iFanboy fans can get a free 15-day trial when they go to www.gamefly.com/iFanboy.
If you listen to our weekly audio show, or you come to iFanboy.com, you know I talked a lot about a book called Power Girl.
You have. You've been a big fan.
This is the first volume of Power Girl, which I'm not talking about, but I just want to use it as a reference. It actually just ended the run between the creative team of Jimmy Palmiotti, Justin Gray as the writers, and Amanda Conner, the artist. They just finished a 12-issue run. This is volume 1 through 6.
People act like the book's over. It's not.
It's not over, but the creative team is over, and that's a sad thing. My book is Terra, which is a miniseries by the same creative team.
Oh.
And
I didn't even know this book existed.
I didn't know it existed either, and I didn't read it until just recently. And it is a true prelude to Power Girl.
Now, this is the girl who is related to Geoforce.
Well, yes, the story.
The worst name in modern superhero comics.
Well, first I'll tell you.
Costume
I'll tell you.
Captain Planet.
This collection actually contains one issue of Supergirl, because I think that's where Terra first appeared, and then the 4-issue Terra miniseries. So there's 5 issues in this, and it leads into Power Girl, where Terra is a supporting character. Which is funny, because I read Power Girl, I didn't really know who this Terra person was.
Does that explain it?
And I was having to pick up on it, and this makes sense. The story of Terra is... Terra, you know the Terra, the Teen Titans, the Judas Contract, the 14-year-old girl who
The classic story.
with Deathstroke.
I really don't.
You've
classic
seen her,
story.
don't you?
I really haven't. I have no experience with this other than those Brad Meltzer issues of JLA where he mentioned
Oh,
her.
well, in Teen Titans, Terra was a Titan.
You might want to tell them.
All right, in Teen Titans, Terra was a Titan, and
Teen Titans Terra was a Titan?
no,
Terrible.
Terra was a member of the Titans, and she could
control the Earth,
yeah, exactly. And she shacked up with Deathstroke the Terminator.
even though she was 14.
Yeah, and
He's got a big gun.
and he used her
Mini.
as a mole inside the team,
Ended up bringing the team down through her.
through her, and big huge the Judas Contract, big huge betrayal, and all that.
She was the ultimate
I didn't
betrayer,
know that.
the ultimate failure of the Teen Titans. That was the story where Dick Grayson quit being Robin. She's a major character. She's long since dead. There was a second Terra, which I don't know much about because I dropped off Teen Titans for a while. And this is the third Terra.
Terra 3.
The story of this book is there's a civilization under the ground of all people of rock people. Think people from like lava people.
Like the Mole Men?
Like the Mole Men, kind of. But they're
not.
deep underground.
Right.
And she's one of those people. They engineered her to look human. They used some of the original Terra's DNA, and so they wanted to send someone up to the surface land to commune with the people.
Is this one 14?
No, she's 16.
Oh, okay, better.
They drew a
Almost
smoking
legal.
hot 16-year-old, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, it's Amanda Conner.
Amanda Conner doesn't draw anybody not smoking hot.
She does draw the women.
I wish she would draw
nicely.
me.
So they sent Terra to the Earth, to the surface world, to commune because all the drilling and stuff is impacting, and they want it to stop. And so this is the story of this girl now. She shows up on the surface, trying to fit in. She meets Supergirl in the beginning, and they don't not get along, but they don't become fast friends. But she meets Power Girl, and they really hit it off and become friends, which leads into the Power Girl series.
Okay.
So it's really a true prelude of a series many people may not have known about.
When did this come out?
This is fairly recent. I think it was 2009.
Okay, so last year.
Yes, 2009.
Not bad.
2007, she appeared in Supergirl issue 2009. So this truly leads into basically they fly off at the end to start the Power Girl series. So
Right.
it's really a...
I find these shows will be a success if you introduce me to something I've never heard of.
Yeah.
I never knew this existed before we sat down here.
Yeah.
I didn't know it existed either until recently.
fascinating.
So,
Yeah.
but if you're a fan of Power Girl, I know a lot of people who watch the show or listen to the show, come to the website like Power Girl. Terra not only enhances, it's by the same creative team.
Sorry.
You feel like you're getting enough satisfaction out of your comic
It's like
books.
extends.
Maybe it enhances.
Well, it's the same creative team, so is it the similar voice?
It's
I mean,
a
like, is
similar
it,
voice. It's not as sharp as Power. There's something special about Power Girl. I think it's mostly due to the character. The Terra's a bit more of the younger teenage. Power Girl's more adult.
Right.
But the art is there. The Amanda Conner art is just fantastic. The Jimmy Palmiotti, Justin Gray voice is there. They have the sort of light, airy, funny voice.
now, does any of the events of this lead into the Power Girl series, or it's just
No,
that she's a character?
She's a character. At the end, she and Power Girl become friends. There's a great sequence where they go shopping. She's never been shopping before. And, so a lot of the stuff that you find about Power Girl, the sort of normal life,
I bet she
normal
doesn't
life
have a
stuff.
hard time finding clothes that fit her since she's smoking hot.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
she's most of the clothes will fit her.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
She'll
the
look good
opposite
in-
problem we have.
I see. That's too much for everyone.
So
I
the
could use
voice
a
is there.
prequel on that.
Anybody who's a fan of Power Girl needs to pick up Terra. This is a really nice volume.
It's a small one. It's a little one.
It's short. It's a short volume. It's 5 issues.
What, $15?
Needs to be enhanced, is what you're saying.
$15?
It needs to extends. It's $15.
$15, not bad. That's pretty good.
So if you're a fan of Power Girl, check out Terra, and it'll totally enhance your reading experience. Now I understand what's been going on with some of the stories.
And you've liked Tower Girl anyway, because it sounds like it was just a confused, muddled
She was
mess.
a minor supporting character. I didn't know where she came
And you get
from.
to those pages and you'd be like, what is this?
They just, in Power Girl, they're already friends, and I was like, who is this girl? I didn't know who she was. But by the time that you read her in the story, you understand.
I find that when I meet people and there's somebody else with them, I'm very confused until I read that person's backstory.
Yeah.
In real life? Or
yeah, like if a friend comes over and he has a different friend with him, and you're like,
your origin
I'm like, who are you?
Oh, here.
We should all carry an origin
The
around.
main thing is the Amanda Connor art, which is gorgeous. And from Power Girl, she's become one of my top 5 artists.
She's great. She's really good. Yeah.
She's an untapped talent. She needs to be huge.
Yeah.
Everything now is sexual innuendo.
What are you talking about, Power Girl? That's the way it goes.
Once that dam bursts, there's no stopping it. It's going to be this
He
way.
said dam bursts and extends.
All right, it's my turn up next.
Thanks to Netflix for sponsoring this episode of iFanboy. With more than 12 million members, Netflix is the world's largest subscription service, streaming movies and TV episodes over the internet and sending DVDs by mail. For $8.99 a month, Netflix members can instantly watch unlimited TV episodes and movies streamed to their TVs and computers, and can receive unlimited DVDs delivered quickly to their homes. With Netflix, there are never any due dates or late fees. Members can select from a growing library of titles that can be watched instantly in a vast array of titles on DVD. Among the large and expanding base of devices that can stream movies and TV episodes from Netflix right to members' TVs are Microsoft's Xbox 360, Sony's PS3 game console, and the Nintendo Wii console. Find movies you love easily. As a new member and an iFanboy viewer, you get a free trial membership. Go to www.netflix.com/iFanboy and sign up now. Be sure to use this URL so they know we sent you.
So another book that we've talked about a lot over the years is a book called Sleeper. Right? Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips.
I've ever heard us talk about that book.
Yeah. Wake up, wake up, wake up. We're shooting the show.
That was a terrible joke.
It was.
I apologize to the viewers, and I understand if you leave.
So Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips did a great kind of 2-season run on a book called Sleeper, which is how would you describe that? It was a very
Espionage.
Superhero spy thriller.
Right.
In the Wildstorm universe.
In the Wildstorm universe, correct. And it was great. It was the precursor to Criminal and Incognito, the work they've been doing over at Icon and Marvel now.
Thematically, not exactly.
Thematically, yeah. And what I thought, and I read Sleeper, you guys introduced me, I really enjoyed it. And then I heard about Point Blank, which actually on the cover it says Prelude to Sleeper.
So perfect.
Perfect.
It came out before.
It did come out before.
But no one knew about it.
And no one's read it.
It's like Terra.
But it's technically a prequel to the Sleeper story. It was a short 5-issue miniseries written by Ed Brubaker, but it was drawn by Colin Wilson. So no Sean Phillips.
So that Sean Phillips cover on the front and all that Sleeper
Liars.
trade
reference.
dress.
Yeah,
Well,
not so much.
let's look over here.
Yeah, but basically the story focuses on Grifter from the Wildcats.
Love Grifter.
Great. Never wears his costume in this. No, the red mask.
At that point, he wasn't wearing his costume because at this point it was Joe Casey's Wildcats.
It was right before Wildcats 3.0.
Yeah.
There's actually an explanation in the back, and it tells you when this stuff takes place. And
Maybe
all
that should have been at the front.
Maybe it should have. But
What just happened? Who is that girl? Who's that guy's friend?
But so basically, what the story focuses on is that Grifter's been working with meets up with John Lynch, who was his buddy from the old Team 7 days. They're in a old military unit.
Vietnam?
Yeah, Vietnam way back, where they all got tested on and got powers and this sort of thing.
Wildstorm, those wars stay the same.
Exactly, but
Shift wars.
something was up. Something didn't feel right. Lynch didn't meet him when he should have, and then turns out Lynch ends up getting shot. And Grifter is left asking a whole bunch of questions. He's thrown into this kind of mystery of why did Lynch get shot, who's after him. And we travel with Grifter as he tries to put the pieces together to figure out what happens. And turns out the villain from Sleeper, Tao, who used to be in Wildcats, Grifter basically uncovers Tao has this criminal organization he's put together. And this basically sets up everything that happens in Sleeper, as well as introducing Holden Carver, who's the main character of Sleeper. When Sleeper starts, we get introduced to Holden as we find out he's a secret agent inside of Tao's organization, been working for Lynch, but Lynch had just been shot and he can't get into contact with Lynch. This is what sets it all up.
Out in the cold.
Exactly.
As
So,
What does Jar Jar do in it?
Jar Jar's not in it.
There's no Jar Jar?
No, he's in the Queen Country one.
Oh.
So, yeah. But,
What did Jar Jar do in that one?
he was in Hong Kong.
Misa serve Queen and Country. I'd like to apologize for that even more.
So, having read Sleeper, and honestly, when I started reading Sleeper, I was a little confused.
Did it enhance your
It definitely enhanced my experience in a huge way. No, it definitely.
So it was a gigantic enhancement?
It basically laid the groundwork for what that first Sleeper story was, about how, why Carver was in the position he was in, who Lynch was, what happened to him, what was going on with Tao, and all that sort of stuff. The art wasn't. It's not. If this was by Sean Phillips,
It's not Sean Phillips.
It's not
is what
Sean
he's saying.
Phillips. Yeah, nothing
It's a
against
comic
Colin
book.
Wilson. It's very. It's very grim and gritty and noirish at times. Like it's almost like, aside from the espionage and the agents and stuff like that, it reminds me of that Greg Rucka, Brubaker, street level PI kind of like. If you told me that Grifter was a private investigator and gets thrown into this mess, I would totally buy it. You know, totally buy that premise. Midnighter makes a minor little appearance. There's some references to the Authority. It's loosely, I mean, it's the Wildstorm universe, but a more mature Wildstorm universe. There's a lot of cursing, so it's not for kids. It's for mature readers. Having read Sleeper and enjoying it, I'm glad that I finally did read this. I mean,
I've heard a lot about it over the years. I've just never gotten around to reading it.
It's not as strong as Sleeper, but you could see how Brubaker, you could see where he was going.
This had to happen for that to happen.
Exactly.
Is what you're saying.
Exactly. So
All right.
I'm glad I read it. So yeah. So cool. So those are our prequels. There's a whole bunch of other prequels that are out there. If you've got one that you want to suggest that we should check out, shoot us an email, contact@ifanboy.com.
Or call our voicemail line. It's 888-FANBOYS, which is 326-2697. You can leave us a voicemail on this topic or any other topic you want. We use it on our audio show, on our video show.
Yep.
And also sometimes just for ourselves.
Just to listen when we're bored.
I like it when he gets into his like, so we're gonna do this. His Bob Ross voice. Twitter be all about that comics and whatnot. So be on twitter.com/ifanboy to follow us.
Yes.
Because that's where a lot of comic stuff is happening.
And if you want even more comic stuff, you go to ifanboy.com, where we've got great articles and reviews and written content, as well as our audio podcast and all that fun stuff. And if you want to watch earlier episodes of iFanboy, go to revision3.com/ifanboy, where you can check it all out.
The most important thing to remember is sometimes you're satisfied with the way things are, but you just need a little bit of enhancement.
Do you want to make it twice as big?
Sometimes. It doesn't mean
Are
you're
you saying that for
inadequate.
some people that
It doesn't mean that you're inadequate with just the one thing.
right?
I'm-
But
But sometimes,
more
sometimes just a little more.
more is better.
Sometimes just a
That's
little
what you're
more.
I'm
It's
embarrassed.
better for
I've
everyone.
heard sometimes that it really is not about the size.
No.
No, it's the way. It's the
Look,
motion
this is very satisfying.
It's thick.
Sometimes you just want more though.
Yeah, it's thicker.
Like if you're done with it and like, oh, I feel good, but more would be better.
We've got to stop this now.
I can't figure out how to apply that to my book.
The fact you never read. The fact you never read. Mustang.
Penis. Cut that. I timed it.
She's an untapped talent, and it's gonna be huge. Like it's just like.
She is on that talent. She's in this.
Do you like to use a swirl stroke? You know what I'm talking about?
So
What do you
many
do with the left
outtakes-
hand?
So many outtakes we can't use.
I know. Okay. Count me
Are
in.
you in the right spot? You've like way moved into the
Turn the
thing.
TV on then. He's moved too. I feel like we.
I feel like
we're
you're both like. At one point, you were both turned towards me. I'm like, we need to not do this. Judas contract, motherfucker.
Let's redo the audio.
Oh yeah, way too. Get to step it
Step it. Step up.
to the streets. 3D.
We've got to watch that trailer after this. You've got to see.
Would you guys be surprised if I was a step dancer?
I do traditional Irish dance.
I do capoeira.
I do beats and stuff.
I do the Brazilian fighting
I do
dance.
beats. I do beats and rhythms and beats.
Let's do it.
I do dance-offs in the weekends.
I do.
Battles.
I do.
There's battles in this movie. It's gonna
battle
be-
in the weekend.
You Step Up. We've got to go see Step Up 3D. It's gonna be amazing. Step Up.
I like to dance in water and then illuminate that water.
There's like a Tron dance. Okay, wait. Just do the shows. All right,
3, 2.
Hot stomachs.
They all have hot stomachs. They're always
let's go again.
Nothing in common.
3, 2.